Okay, so we're recording. This
Okay.
is the Cemetery Commissioners meeting on Wednesday, December 9th, 2020 at 6 p.m. Now 6:05 by my clock. In attendance is Janice Stone and Walter Tibbetts from the Cemetery Commissioners. I guess if we jump right into the agenda, a review and approve the minutes of the October 21st, 2020 meeting. For some reason, I thought we had one in November, but I don't think we did. Oh, Mary Jo's.
Good. We had scheduled one, but we both had forgotten, and maybe we even had different days, I think.
Right,
You know, it was
that's true. So I think it.
jumble.
Yep. All right. So yeah, so we just have the minutes of the October 21st meeting.
Okay.
I looked through them. They looked fine.
All right, good.
I guess seeing there's only two of us, I'll make the motion that we accept the minutes.
All right, I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Hi, Mary Jo.
Hey, how's it
Hello.
going?
Okay.
All right, yourself?
Good, good.
All right, so we actually just started. We just approved the minutes from our October 20
Okay, good.
meeting. It's kind of a small agenda tonight. So first on is application for CPA grant for additional restoration work. I know we had talked about that at our October meeting.
Yeah.
I guess we missed the deadline, you said? That was.
Yeah, because I couldn't really do anything. You know, I hadn't written something up and I thought we were going to do something in November. Then maybe
Right.
we get in before the December 4th or whatever it was deadline. And we just couldn't. And I felt, well, you know, I just didn't see how it could work until I talked to you. I did talk to someone and I'm trying to think who it was, whether it was someone on the Hadley Cemetery Commission, I think, who said to me something like, well, I said, well, we have to figure out which of the next few that we want, you know, and then how much money is that going to cost and stuff like that. And they just said, well, why don't you just do more of what you've done in terms of hire someone to, you know, do the next round of most important cleaning and restoration. And, you know, I thought about it. I said, yeah, that makes more sense. Then we have a plan. But
Right, and that's kind of what I.
you know.
Right, and kind of what we had talked about with Tamara and all that, and even Susan when she was doing, you know, the cleaning and resetting of a lot of the smaller stones.
Yeah.
Because she was going through stone by stone. When you get the ones that you see are damaged beyond what you can do or what we can do, or,
Yeah.
you know, really looks like it should be on the agenda for somebody more professional to do, just jot that down. And also, like she said, if we get a certain amount of money, say we got $5,000 or $10,000 to do something, she said she could do very much the same thing as just look at it and say, all right, for that amount of money, these are the ones I see prioritized or that you've already prioritized. We can do this many for that amount. Mm-hmm. And pick those stones. So.
Yeah, I mean, when I looked, I was walking around the cemetery and I started taking notes as well. And then you told me that, you know, Susan had some notes. And I thought, okay, but how do we keep track of where these are so people can find them and what they are? And it just became like, and how do I know? You know, there were things that really need cleaning. There's some that are broken. I was looking especially in the old section. I'd love to see some of those get fixed.
Right. Yeah.
But, you know, are those a higher priority or not? They're in terrible shape. But on the other hand, they're not as much of a danger as some of the other ones, perhaps in the back. So, you know,
I don't know. I mean, initially you prioritize them. Everybody I've talked to is by, you know, are they dangerous or not?
Yeah.
And then after that, it's, you know, by size or, you know, the amount of damage.
Condition. Yeah.
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 I mean, in some ways, the ones in the front would be really nice because they are older and they are visible when you drive down the road. I mean, it's a big difference just in the amount of stones that Susan's gone through and, you know, reset and clean. I don't even know if she's cleaned a lot of them, but she did, but she reset a lot of stones, and just driving by there and seeing them all standing
Lined up.
in line where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's a big difference from having them helter-skelter all over.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's
And
like
I
some-
thought too, the Locks Village, or Locks Hill, whatever that cemetery is called, near Lake Wyola,
Yeah.
that has a lot of stones that need work too.
yeah,
And so, we should, I would like to see that. And then the Pratt Corner doesn't have too much, but some of those stones, I don't know how much you can do on some of them that are just weathering out, they're,
yeah.
they're,
Unfortunately, a lot of the
Hearing.
stones there are remnants of some stone, and
yeah,
about all there is. Even the maps do not show. Some of them they know who the people are. Of them, other one it just shows a stone, location
oh,
stones, and that's it. Because they're,
wow,
there was no written history, I guess, on
yeah,
areas
yeah.
going back that far. So
So I guess we have time now to figure it out. And I thought, well, how can I do this? And I'd have to be ready to present it to the CP.
it was kind of short
Yeah,
notice.
it just wasn't
You know,
time.
If you go and do that, you want to make it look nice. I mean, I was actually approached by somebody from the CPA committee and said, hey, you should apply for more.
Yeah,
And I kind of asked them, well, what do you think is better? Would we be better at, or better for the CPA, the group, to come for 5,000, 8,000 a year or something like that, smaller number, more,
uh-huh,
or come with a larger amount? And he said, whatever works for you guys,
uh-huh.
the best.
Yeah,
Oh.
okay. And I didn't know how much, as a 1 or 2, maybe eventually 3-person commission, how much we can take on.
Take on, right? And plus, if you do a large group and you have to do the match, it's a much larger match you have to do all at once.
Yeah,
Whereas if we do smaller amounts more often, get the whole thing written and just
yeah,
submit it every year, the matches are smaller and more manageable, I think, than trying to do a big match.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and we probably can do some match again from Historical Commission as well as CPC, once we figure out how we want to handle this.
Sure.
So do you think that we should work on a grant proposal to hire someone to do that assessment, so we have a sort of a professional list like last time? Or
We could. I know Tamara would volunteer to do that. I mean,
uh-huh,
when I originally talked to her about hiring her to come and do an assessment, she said, "Oh, I'd never charge you for that. I'd just come in and do it."
uh-huh, uh-huh. That's really nice.
So I don't know if I can talk to her again and see what she says about that, if she would be willing to do something like that. I mean, she did kind of say, she'd come in and just prioritize some stones for us again for the next,
Uh-huh.
or if there's something that we see that we definitely want as a priority, we can
Okay,
put on there too.
all right.
One of those larger ones that have fallen over that are just too heavy for us to save,
Oh, yeah,
all that. I mean,
yeah,
one right up in the front, right by the road, that has been over for several years, and
yeah,
went to try moving it once, and it's like
yeah. It's amazing how heavy it is,
No.
isn't
amazing how heavy those things are.
it? Okay, all right, so I'll think about it, we'll think about it, and we've got time now to get something together. And I think
Yeah.
they have several more applications this year. Historical is putting in 2 different kinds of ones, and I know
Okay.
that they're advertising to people to, submit projects. But having done now, this shrub one that I'm trying to finish up. I checked the other day again, the War Memorial hasn't been painted. He told me he'd get to it, told me a couple times he'd get to it. Didn't
Yeah.
happen. So I've got to get back to the grant people and find out, can they hold the money over longer because of the pandemic? Or do we I'm saving the money aside that was to go towards that, and maybe just figure in the worst case, we'll just have to return the portion that was for the War Memorial. So
Right.
We'll see what happens. I'll find out soon, I hope, on that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, as you see, that's half the problem with doing these things, is dealing with the contractors and all that to get them to actually
Yeah,
do things.
yeah. It went pretty smoothly with Tamara and probably with that other guy who was a
Yeah.
bidder as well. I think that would have, that they know what they're doing. It's a specific project and they can
Yep.
be flexible with weather and everything else like that to fit it
Right.
in.
I know the
So-
whole tree project, the first start of this thing was just, I mean, that took so long to get people to bid. Then once we did get them to time things, you know, they wanted to be there when the ground was frozen, but not too much snow on the ground. And
Yeah,
it's just, it was a nightmare. It
yeah.
was.
And I had a related question. If you want, we can put it under items not anticipated. Just talking about what money should be coming from the Shrab grant to go towards payment of Tamara. And the Historical Commission received a bill, and that's part of what I was looking for madly as before I tuned in. But I don't know who's put, maybe it was the accountant who had put together a bill for paying Tamara's thing, and it included a large chunk. It might have been 2105 or something like that for the Shrab grant, and that isn't correct because you have to take out the War Memorial painting part. So I wanted to check with you.
Right. Oh, hold on a second. Let me look what I put in on the warrant for that. Hold on.
Okay.
Have you been doing anything interesting during the pandemic, Janice?
A lot of Zoom calls.
Yeah.
Is this my second one? I had one Monday. I had one last night. I have one tonight. I have two possibly tomorrow night. I'll choose one. Some weeks they all just line up.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I've also had a lot of Zoom calls, but I've been able to go out and do a bunch of hiking. Not these last 2 weeks because of the hunters, but
Yes, yeah.
like Thanksgiving week, we did a ton of
Oh,
hiking.
that's good. That's nice.
Yeah.
I've been getting out at least once a week for a longer hike, and otherwise just trying to get outside almost every day at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's important.
All right. So I have the figures here.
Yeah.
Second bill from Historic Greystone Services was $8,900.
Okay. Yep.
So we used the remainder of the Preserve West Cemetery stones. The remainder of the grant left was $7,100, actually $52. I transposed numbers and put it 25, but it's 52,
So
which
is
she
that-
caught that.
is that the one from CPC? Is that what that 7152 is?
Yep, that was from the community preservation, what was left of the grant.
Okay.
That. Then from the Veteran Heritage Grant, that was supposed to be 1,215.
Yeah, that's too much.
Those are the figures you gave me of that part of it. And then 533 was supposed to come from the cemetery tree gift account.
Uh-huh.
Was
Yeah. So when I checked what I had set aside for, based on the estimates for cost, was that the War Memorial was going to be $890 without painting the area around the lettering, or 320 more for a total of 1210. So 1210 had to be set aside for the War Memorial, and then that comes from the 2105 award. So that leaves only $895 for the cleaning and restoration work. Although we've done more than 50% of that with the volunteer work, the workshop, the cleaning and everything else like that. But because I don't have that, the other part was more heavily balanced because we couldn't really do volunteer work on the painting, the War Memorial part. So
well, I submitted the amount of money you told me
Okay,
that grant was 1,215.
yeah, but that, okay, 1,215. Um, I'm looking for that number. I don't know, I know, I'm terrible at this now, and that's why I was looking up my numbers again. Um, maybe that's okay. Let's see, 2105 is what we got. So if I took so if I took the 2105 and subtracted just 890, that may be the amount, 9, and that's 8 to 20. Da, da, da. Hold on a second. I'm going to use a calculator. Okay, that's the 1215. Okay,
That's the right amount.
it's okay. That's the 890 for just the painting without the lettering part. So I think that's a legitimate still to use that, since that was flexible, whether we were gonna do the painting of the lettering or not. So yeah, okay, that's all right.
Okay.
I think the copy that Miriam had gotten for the historical was like 2105 or something, when it was a couple weeks ago that she got it from the accounting. It was in her box or something. But anyway, as long as you've got the 1215, that's fine.
Yeah, that's what we used out of that account for
Okay.
the last part of the last invoice, and then
Okay.
balance from the cemetery tree gift, which there is still some left.
Yeah,
I believe.
right. And it sounds
So
like
if we absolutely had to change that, I suppose we could talk to Gail and have her.
no, I think that's okay.
Okay.
So the other thing is, wasn't there $1,000 from the Friends of Historical and 1,000 from Historical, or was part of that used for the trees?
Well, no, what they called it was from the historical, but it's how she names it.
Yeah, right.
So the cemetery tree gift account was part of the account from the historical committee, and part of there were so many different ones that
Yeah.
voted, but I didn't writing of what they actually voted.
Mhm.
That's hold on a second. Let me see if I can pull up. Last expense report. Find the right page. I think that's 2025.
I had asked her for the cemetery and the historical printouts at one point. It looks like it was somewhere around July 1st, says on the thing. And at that point, it still showed the $1,000. It doesn't really say
Well,
where it came from.
Cemetery Tree Gift Historical Commission,
Yeah,
$1,000. We used 533 out here. So
okay,
there's $467 left in that account.
okay. All right, and then the other was in the Preserve West Cemetery Stones. No,
Was the CPC.
CPC. Oh yeah, CPA. Oh yeah, carryover
CPA
12.
money, that has been leveled to zero now.
Okay, okay, that's good. I think CPC will be glad that we finally
Yeah.
cleared that. All right, that's good.
And there still is a Hearst House expense. That was when they redid the Hearst House. That's
Yeah,
so we can use that to like repaint it or do shelving or something like that for the actual house.
yeah.
So
And how much is left in that one?
that's 500.
Okay. All right.
See, unfortunately, we had to plan for different things to happen, and then people had voted to do, well, let's give them $1,000. Let's give them, some $500.
Yeah,
All of a sudden, it's like, well, I had nothing in writing, but people telling me, well, yeah, we voted this much for that and so much
yeah,
to help you guys out. And it's like, okay, but unless I had it in writing to say everybody did this much, because I check with Gail every once in a while, say, somebody supposedly did this, even like the town center committee did that, and we used that money for restoring the door on the crypt.
oh, good,
We
uh-huh,
had a lock made and all that, and
yeah,
some of their money that they used went to that. So
uh-huh.
because that was sitting there, and she kept telling me, "You got to use this up. You got to use this up." It's like, okay. So as far as I know, the only thing left is the cemetery tree gift historical commission. She called it that because it went towards the it was the removal of the trees, but the rebuilding or the cleaning and repair of
Uh-huh.
the stones, but that's what she called it. So
Yeah,
she called it when she makes it doesn't necessarily mean
Mm.
exactly what it was supposed to be used.
yeah, maybe she should ask what to call these so that
Yeah.
everyone knows.
So there's still $467 left in that.
Okay, all right, that's good.
That we can still use towards that, whether it's, buying D2 for our cleaning, purposes.
That's true. Okay, that would be good.
I was
Yeah,
going to buy some, but now, it got the end of the
Yeah.
season cold and I didn't want to have it stored where it's going to freeze and all that. So
yeah, okay,
I don't have room around here at the fire station to store anything more that's not fire department
I bet.
as it is. So
Yeah, okay. All right, so that's helpful. Thank you. For cemetery restoration. Okay, good.
all right, so yeah, we can kind of work towards putting a plan together to get. It'd be nice to do if we do this grant application is get it, set and then be able to just duplicate it each.
Yeah,
Put it in, make it an ongoing thing.
yeah. Maybe I can work on at least doing that, to set up a regular template that we can use if they're satisfied, CPC is satisfied with it.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Anything else on that part?
Nope.
Okay. All right, Joe, I know you feel free, but if you have questions, just jump in
Yeah.
the comments. So next on the agenda was cemetery surveying work. Obviously, he didn't get out here to put the pins in before we
No.
snow and freezing weather. So unfortunately, I think that's on hold till the spring.
Uh-huh, yep.
Unless we get some weather and it clears and we can get them back here, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, have you been in touch with him at all to ask him if
No,
he?
not in the
still able?
last couple of weeks, no.
Okay. Maybe just to touch base to find out if there's still likely to be a possibility or not. I
Right.
suppose we'd need snow cover, wouldn't we, to keep the ground from freezing deep?
Yeah, and right now, I mean, there is snow cover out there. I
Uh-huh.
underneath the snow, it's probably not frozen that much. The frost isn't setting in.
Mm-hmm.
And it is supposed to warm up this weekend and get rain, but then that means all the snow will be gone or it'll turn to ice and then it will
Yeah.
freeze. So I can try
Yeah.
giving him a call and see.
Just see if he should just, if he thinks that, well, just wait till spring. It's, it's
Yeah.
not going to fit in, but just so we know.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. I threw that in just to talk about it.
Yeah, that's good.
The next one I have, this is kind of is a question that was brought up to me. Somebody was looking, a family was looking to get more lots around. Woman now is probably in her 30s or so. Years ago, it's probably at least 20 years ago. I'm not sure. It was after the newer section was
Uh-huh.
done. I'm not sure exactly when that was done. Where the green burial section is, that whole side there
Yeah.
was a young baby, died of SIDS and was
Oh,
there. And the family bought just basically 2 plots. Well, the the family, other members of the family now are looking for a plot. And we were out there looking at things, and then she got asking about the green burials. And so we showed her those, and I showed her those, and she was really interested in getting a plot. She thinks most of her family would be more interested in, you know, the green or natural burials. But then she had a question was, could they exhume the
Right.
baby and have it moved to the natural burials section? And I said, well, you know, I really don't know. The thing is, they were looking at the lot that borders the end of it. So there'd be regular burials, you know, 2 feet away from there. Is, you know, is it that important? I don't know how much, you know, over 20 years there's anything left. If, you know, the question was, could they purchase that lot right at the end and move the baby into the corner of that lot bordering the regular burials, and then have the rest of them, you know, it would be a natural burial section. They could do the natural burials. Is that something we would allow or not? And it's to me, it's a very gray area. I mean, we tried to make it, this is green burials and only green burials, and this is not. It's going to come up when people in the family, some wanted it, some didn't. In this case, the baby's been buried like for 20 years. And at first I said, well, maybe you could buy a plot right next to it and then buy the green burials plot, but the plot right next to it is already purchased and already has a burial in it. So I said I would bring the question up to our meeting and let her know. So that's what I'm doing. I'm bringing it up. It's kind of a gray, because if we want to be black and white, we say no green burials in that section. But, you know, literally a couple feet away can be a regular burial. You know, how important is that 2 feet?
So can I ask a couple clarifying questions?
Sure.
So one is, what is the person's relationship to the baby who's asking?
Sister.
Oh, a sister of the baby.
Yep.
I see. Okay. And where is the baby located now?
Probably, let me get the map. I think it's 2 plots. You know, there's the 8x8 plots, or 18 by 18 plot sections, and 8 grave plot. I think she's just 2 over, but let me grab the map and double check.
Mary Jo, when you guys worked on the natural burial thing, did you have anything about people being able to have headstones or not, or is there?
Yeah, we left the headstones to be the same as what would be in the rest of the cemetery.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So the green burials plot that they were looking at would be number 261, and the baby is buried in plot 264. So it is, let's see, 32. Buried like 40 feet away right now, but it's 3 plots away.
So do they want to move the baby?
Yes.
Or?
Their question was, could they move the baby? It's the only one buried in that plot, into a corner of their, I don't know if they're going to buy the full 8 plot lot or at least a 4 plot lot, and move the baby into the corner of that lot so it would be with the rest of the family.
And are the parents still alive?
I'm not sure about that.
Because did they want to buy burial lots for the parents?
I do not know. She was going to talk with the rest of the family about she looked at a couple different lots in the green burials, and she wanted to talk to the rest of the family. She figured the rest of the family would be more interested in the green burial or natural burial than than not. But this may or may not be a deciding factor whether they buy natural burial or if they buy more plots right around where the baby is
They
buried.
could do that.
Yeah, they are available there, but then they couldn't do the green burials.
Oh, yeah. So I guess there's a couple questions is what's involved in moving a burial?
Basically, it'd be up to them to do it. They would have to get the permits to have the body exhumed and moved over and buried, 40 feet the other way. I mean, they would buy that plot. This plot would be, be available again because there wouldn't be anybody in it. And it would be, I'm assuming that, and I probably shouldn't assume, I should try to check, that the baby was, at that point, was probably required to be the casket in a cement vault. So it would be taking the whole vault, child size or infant size vault, out and moving it over into the other lot that they purchased.
So would they be moving the vault or could they just move the baby in the coffin?
No,
What?
You couldn't, I don't think you could move just the baby in the coffin. You would have to move the vault itself.
Hmm. So you'd be burying the vault in the green section, natural
Yep.
section?
Yep, which we do allow them, but
Yeah.
they have an open bottom. That is in the regulations. It's not required, but if they choose to use a cement vault, that it has to have an open bottom. At this point, 20 plus years later, I don't think there's much left there of the body to really worry too much about. And like I said, literally, I'll hold the camera up here.
Okay.
If that's going to show on the map. Let me turn this down a little bit more. I can't quite see the.
Yeah, you can't see it when you're showing it to us.
So, let's see. This is the start of the green burials this way.
Okay.
Baby is buried right here.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So feasibly, if this lot was not there, they could buy this lot and put the casket right there
Yeah.
and then have their, so my feeling is, in some ways, what's the difference between right here and right there?
Uh-huh.
The difference of, centered 4.5 feet.
But that one's already taken though, right?
This one is already taken, yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Rather than having them buy one plot in one of these lots and then buying another one there, would we allow them to do the burial right here on the edge of the green burials? So it's with the rest of the family or not?
I personally don't have any problem with that.
I don't either. I mean,
Okay.
like I said, if they were looking at somewhere way down here, well, then it's a little bit different. You're doing a regular burial well into the natural burial, and you could argue like 20 years later, is there going to be a problem? I really don't know. But to do it right on the edge of the burial,
Mm-hmm.
where the family can be together, then I don't have a big problem with that.
I feel that, that would be the compassionate thing to do if that's important to them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Started
Okay.
off, they want to buy lots near as close as they could to the baby, which there is some right next to it. But then when you started asking about the natural burials and what it involved, and I told her that, and she said, well, that's more what our, more family would be interested in doing. She said, originally I thought of wanting to be cremated, thinking that was more, better for the environment. And then when she found out that, well, no, the energy involved it takes and the pollution and all that, she goes, oh, okay, I don't want to do that. So they definitely are more leaning towards the natural burials. It's just, they'd like to try to keep the family together.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, if you don't have a problem with it, and Mary Jo doesn't have a problem with it, I'm fine. I'm
Yeah,
sort of new
I
on the
think as
green
long as they
burial
would
stuff.
make, as long as they would rebury the baby on the very edge of the green burials lot. So it's next, it would be, a few feet
Yeah.
where it would normally not be in green burial.
Okay.
I'm sure we may have some other things come up like this in the future, but I mean, this is, just the compassion of trying to keep the family together from, her sister that died as a baby 20 some odd years ago. It's, that's my feeling anyways.
Okay. Do you want to vote on that or not? Or
I think we should take an official vote on it. Yes.
okay. All right. Do
So
you want
I will make the motion to allow them to do that in lot. Let me get the lot number and put the map the right way. In a section of lot 261 or 277, which is the lots right on the edge of the green burial next to the natural burial. And as long as they buried the infant right on that first lot bordering the regular burials. Of course, they would be responsible for all the permits and costs and all that to have the body exhumed and moved.
Who does that?
I'd have to look at how they go about getting the permits. I know it's been done.
But you haven't done it?
It's been done in my family,
Oh,
as a matter of fact. So, but I wasn't involved in it. But like I said, getting back to doing the motion first.
yeah. Okay.
sorry.
My motion is to allow them to do it in either portions of one of the three lots that border the regular burials, which would be lot 261, 277, or 292, or portion of.
Yeah.
As long as the infant was moved on to the lot most adjacent to the regular burial section, being lot 293, 278, or 262. Well, 262 can't be because it'd be, but closest to that lot, yeah.
Is it what's that? Oh, so it can't be 262. So
262 is already sold, but
yeah.
listen to those lots. So it'd be in, it would be either in a portion of lot 261, 267, or 292, as long as the infant was buried closest, most adjacent to lots.
Okay.
It's 261 would be 262. If it was lot 277, it'd be 278.
Okay.
292 would be 293. Most adjacent to the lot in the non-natural section.
Okay.
Sense?
Yep. I'll second that.
Okay.
All
right. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
And I say aye. Okay, so the motion does pass.
Okay.
No, at least now it's an option to them. So.
Okay. Always something new.
It never ceases to amaze me.
Oh.
Convoluted some of this stuff can be. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
when believe it or not, while I was out there, I'll bring that up in items not anticipated. So.
Okay.
All right. That was a question on natural burial section. If nothing more on that, we'll move to agenda number 5, which is possible new member. The only person so far that has stepped forward and said, well, and he said, if you can't get anybody else, I guess I'll do it.
Yeah.
Was Steve Sullivan. Was on a number of committees now and works for the highway department. But he seemed to be kind of interested in it. So if we don't get anybody else, he's so far our only choice that have said, yes, I'll do it.
Well, I'm sure he'd be helpful, anyway, it'd be good.
At least having ties directly to the highway department and all that. For plowing and road repair and all that.
Yeah.
He's there.
It'll be a help.
So I'll ask him a little bit further and see if he's wants to commit to it. And he'll probably say, well, okay.
Just tell him he has to come to the meetings.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
and then we can try to find a third person,
Yeah.
anyway, to round
Yep.
out the group.
It's still an ongoing thing. So,
Mhm.
all
Okay.
right.
That's good. It's hopeful. That's
It's
good.
helpful. Yeah, it's something.
Mhm.
I put signs on the agenda because I was hoping to get them done.
I
but
know, I do that sort of thing.
It was a kind of an incentive thing, but
Yeah.
it didn't happen. So
Yeah,
I have
okay,
ways on that.
all right.
So what's the plan for the signs?
Well, we had a while ago had come up with the final wording and all that on them, and Ray was gonna go order them before he resigned, and it didn't get done. And then it just one of those things that
Sure.
with COVID and that meeting and everything else, it kind of got dropped. The ball got dropped on that, and then finally we said, "Hey, yeah, we've got to get those done." So it's just a matter of taking the wording that we had come up with and going down and ordering the signs and getting them done.
If you'd like me to do it, I'd be happy to help.
I offered to.
Well, it may be that somebody else should do it because I'm finding myself just too
Yeah, well, you have other things that are high
pulled in too many
priority,
different
so,
directions. Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Well, I'll do it then.
Yeah.
I'll double check with you on the text. And
Okay.
we were gonna get
Just three signs, wasn't it?
3, I think, because we were gonna replace the one at West. Was based on the one at West, but the West is,
Right. And actually, there's 2 of those at West Cemetery, but we really only need the one coming in.
yeah,
If anybody ever reads the one up by the well. So
no,
but
So
we were
you're
going to
gonna-
get one. We were going to get 3, one for each cemetery, correct?
yeah,
right. And
Yeah.
you're gonna take down the sign, the middle
Yes.
sign. Okay.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. This will the new signs will replace the old sign.
okay, all right. So,
Yeah, Janice, if you need me to do anything,
Okay.
just let me know.
all right, and that was Sunrays Printing, right? That he
I
was,
believe that's who he
working with.
went to. Yeah. I mean, we can always check with Hadley Sign too, Sean. Yeah, can't think of his name at the moment.
Huh.
But he did own. Well, he still owns. It was Copycat Printing in Amherst.
Oh, okay,
He bought out Hadley Sign and then moved the whole operation down to Hadley. So down on Railroad Street in Hadley.
oh, okay. Oh, yeah, and they were just talking about that. He was moving like his rest of his office, everything
Yep,
down to
yep.
that new house, the new building.
Yep.
Oh, okay, all right, that's good. Okay, and we're gonna do the same size basically as what was.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I think we decided the same size. We decided on all the wording. It was just to actually order them and get them made.
Okay. All right, I'll work on that then.
Okay.
That'll be good.
You had something for items not anticipated?
No, that's not, that was just about the billing.
Oh,
So
okay. All right.
just covered that.
Okay, so I do have something that came up when I was down at the cemetery looking at the plots with this woman. I noticed that, and I'm assuming this, I'm not sure,
Yeah,
that the family that has the lot right next to the Green Bears, where there is somebody buried there, it looks like they decided to bring in a big natural stone and place it in the middle of their lot.
oh.
Problem is, they didn't contact anybody beforehand and they didn't put it on their lot.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
oh, no.
And this is the problem when people decide to just do something on their own,
Oh, no.
contacting anybody, because for whatever reason, because we did not have in the middle of that area underneath those trees all rock that weighs probably about 400 or 500 pounds
Oh, no.
sitting there, and there is one now.
Oh, no.
Wow, when did
And
that go in, do you think? When
I
did that happen?
don't really know. I could probably check with Susan and Mike to see if they
Yeah,
or when they know, and they might have said something to me at one time in passing.
just like, notice that new rock?
Yeah, something about a new rock, a big rock that was placed there.
Is it have any writing on it or it's just a
No,
rock?
no, it's just a big fieldstone rock, probably about 3 feet long by a couple feet wide by 2.5, 3 feet tall. Just a big piece of,
Big rock.
yeah. You know, I've
Wow.
got like 10,000 of them in my backyard. The plain old rock that was put there, and you can see obviously there's some dirt disturbed, and it was set in place and all leveled up. The only problem is it's not in the right spot.
So they must have hired a
Actually on-
landscaping company.
It's actually on the plot that's in the green burial, so it's on
Oh,
61, or yeah. So
oh, great.
yeah, so I'm gonna have to contact them and let them know that they've either, if they put it there, they're responsible for moving it, or we'll move it and we'll charge them
Dump it.
to do it.
Uh-huh.
Because they really do need to coordinate with us to make sure that they're putting things in the right place.
Yeah, right.
No, there's another family that did something like that put a stone in the wrong place, and I still have to move that too. But theirs is only like the thickness of the stone. If you take the stone and rolled it over, it's a big
Uh-huh.
stone, it'd be in the right place. But where they put it is technically not on their lot.
Oh, man.
These are the things that happen when people just decide to do things on their own.
Wow. Oh, wow. So you know how to contact the other people. from-
Yeah, if it was, I will contact the family. I think it's the son,
Uh-huh.
and see if they're responsible for doing that. If they thought they put it on their father's lot or not, but the thing is, they did not. So
Oh. And it's one you're trying to sell. All right.
yeah, it's one that people are interested in buying, so it's got to move.
All right.
No,
Might be
it's got to
time.
move anyways. You just can't be going putting headstones or stones to be used as a family headstone or whatever
Yeah.
anywhere.
Mhm.
Probably best if it goes on your family lot.
Yeah. Okay.
And as much trouble as I have with the monument companies calling and wanting to do, wanting me to mark it out, and I'll mark it out and I'll put it in the wrong place anyways.
Mhm.
Random people do it. It's kind of,
Yeah. They probably hired a landscaper and gave them some kind of directions.
yeah, it goes right here.
Yeah, it's right next to the big gray stone, or something. Oh, anyway, so yeah, so maybe it was a lack of communication, but it should have started with you.
Yeah, or the committee somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
They knew how to call me and get a hold of me when it came time to buy a lot, so I'm sure they know
Uh-huh.
how to get a hold of me now.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Oh, well, great.
And that's all I have that's unanticipated.
Did you have anything else, Mary Jo?
Will you be able to put the signs up in the winter?
Yeah, if we can use the same post, we can just take them off the post as there.
Oh, great.
Although
that'd be
the other cemeteries will have to add a post. It all depends on how quickly the frost gets in the ground. Sometimes if
Okay.
a lot of snow and you don't get frost, it's easy because you can just drive them in. If not, we may have to wait till spring. If we get them back soon enough and we don't get a deep frost, we can probably get them in.
Right, but you can take the one down at
Yeah, we
West.
can take the one down and put the other one on it.
Yeah,
Great,
That's not
perfect. Perfect.
good.
It's the last stone for the green burial thing.
All right.
Well,
Great.
I still think it would be nice to actually have some kind of a green burial section sign, even if it's just wood, carved wood or something. It doesn't have to be enormous, but just something just to let people know, people who may not even know that is what that is. And
Right. Especially when they start looking at, well, it's
got all this.
here, or the animal started digging up over here.
Oh, yeah.
No problem already.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they understand that it's a natural burials
Hmm.
section and things are going to happen like that. So.
Yeah. Okay.
I will say that we've had the 2 burials so far. One was in a shroud and one was in a pine box. And the one in the shroud has caused much less problems than the pine box, because the pine box has a lot of void area. So when it starts breaking down, there's a lot more cave in. So
Uh-huh.
in that aspect, it has been more maintenance so far.
Mm-hmm. And it may continue to be then for a while.
Oh, yeah,
too.
it will be. Yeah.
What about a cardboard one?
Well, it depends on, those will, if it doesn't collapse right away, once the ground is put there and leveled out, as it decays, it's gonna leave, anything that leaves more space will be more of a problem, but that's part of what we're doing. So that's in the, when they used to bury them in a pine box, once the box decayed, it caved in, which is why in some places when they do these, they do a big mound. But in the meantime, that mound is hard to maintain and mow because you can't just go over with the mower. It means all those have to be done by hand. So,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
which is
Well, I
why we
would think
chose
a
to do a small mound and then deal with it as it.
Maybe.
Yeah, I would think a cardboard box would, especially would be a little easier, be more quickly fall and then be done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all allowed, whether it's a basket or a cardboard or just a shroud or just a wooden box, natural wooden box. All that stuff is allowed. So
Mm-hmm.
it just makes life interesting. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody else have anything?
Nope.
Okay, so we should set a date for our next meeting.
Okay, I'm just gonna go get my calendar. I forgot to bring
Sure.
it. I'll be right back.
Yep. Line 2.
Okay. Oh, I don't even have an official January yet anyway. Just have a little tiny thing. I don't have anything marked on the little tiny January, so I'm okay.
Okay, so, oops, I gotta get back to this January. So if we keep it for a Wednesday, if we're looking at the second Wednesday would be the 13th, the third Wednesday would be the 20th.
Up to you. I don't know if we'll have anything in particular that we're going to have to deal with.
Right.
It's going to be time
I just figured we'd like to have one before.
Yeah.
Because when do you officially have to leave?
Oh yeah, that's right. Beginning of February. If
Okay.
if it's 6 months, then it's like the first week in February. So I definitely want to
Okay.
get another meeting in.
So,
Let's try for the 13th, and then if there's a
Okay.
problem, got room.
all right.
What's this about you leaving, Janice?
Oh, well, I left town, so I'm only allowed to stay on the commission for 6 months, and so I moved out in August. So I count that off as February.
Oh, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, dear.
I
I didn't know
that's-
that.
Yeah, so that's
That's a
why I've been
bummer. You should have stayed
trying.
in town so you
I-
could have
I
stayed on the
tried.
cemetery commission.
I would have. I wanted to, but I just couldn't find a place that I could afford.
Oh,
So,
where are you now?
Montague.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, well, that's
But-
a loss.
yeah. But I mean, I will stick around after, as long as needed. I can't officially vote or anything, but I can try to help out in other ways if Walter wants me and needs me.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Well, you're great on the commission.
Thank you.
Believe me, I've enjoyed the help.
So yeah, I haven't done it, and I said I would. So maybe I'll try putting something out on Nextdoor. I'm really clumsy with the outdoor with the Nextdoor messaging, so I'm afraid I'll screw it up. I've only done it once or twice for the co-op stuff, but I'll try putting something out. I can always talk to my former neighbor Paul, and he can help me to
He
figure
can
out
do
how
it.
Yeah.
He runs it, so he should be able to.
Yeah, he can tell me how to do it.
Yeah. All right. So we'll shoot for January 13th, the Wednesday,
Okay.
13th at 6 p.m. again.
Okay. All
All
right. Good. Yes. A new year.
And if you could at some point before then, like this time, get the minutes, that
Yeah,
always is a memory jogger for me of exactly what it was I was supposed to do. So
it is for me too. No, if I do them right away, then we'll forget them. But somewhere in between those times, I need to 2 weeks
Yeah.
before or something.
what
So
I'll do
that,
sometimes I print them up and I'll just post them right on my board there if I've got things to do, and it gives me to
oh
highlight them and go, oh yeah, got to get that done yet.
yeah. All right. All
Okay.
right. Thank you.
Very good.
Are you you're not going to Florida or anything this time around, right? Wasn't it last year in
Oh, me?
January or something? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Not traveling at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because
How's your mother, Walter?
Yeah.
she's doing okay.
Good.
Before I look, we'll continue this conversation. I just want to stop the recording.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Oh, right.
The meeting is officially over.
Okay.
All right.